All right, so have you ever gotten that feeling where you're like really trying to learn a language
Uh-huh.
and then you just hit this wall,
Yeah.
like you just can't get past it? That's German for me right now.
Oh, really? What part?
Well, it's these things called Akkusativ and Dativ cases.
Oh, yeah.
They're like these little things. It's like they're guarding the gate to me ever actually being fluent,
Right. Yeah.
but I'm determined to figure them out.
Good.
And I think I've got like a secret weapon.
Okay. Lay it on me.
This PDF called Akkusativ Oder Dative Process is from this company called DL German Language Training.
Nice.
So we're going to deep dive into this today
All right.
and like really try and understand how these cases work.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just memorize rules.
Right.
Like I need to know the why.
Exactly.
I got to understand the how.
Yeah.
So we can just use the right one without even thinking.
That's the dream.
It is the dream, right?
Yeah, totally.
So let's get to it. The source starts with this example.
Okay.
The boy is looking for his dog in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds easy, right?
Yeah, on the surface.
It's like a basic sentence.
Right.
But when you put it into German, it gets all complicated because of these cases.
It does, because you have to think about, well, first of all,
Yeah.
German has this thing called declensions.
Okay, what's that?
It means that the endings of articles, pronouns, and adjectives change.
Oh, so like instead of just the, you have der, die, das.
Exactly. And it goes further than that. The endings of those words change depending on whether they are the subject or the object in the sentence,
Oh.
and also which case that object is.
So it's not just like swapping words around. It's like each word changes its shape depending on its job in the sentence.
Yeah, I like how you put that. It's like they morph to fit.
That's so cool, but also so confusing. Because how are you supposed to know which form to use when?
Right. That's where the decision tree from our source material comes in really handy.
Okay, what's that?
It's like a flow chart. Helps you figure out which case to use.
All right, I'm listening. Where do we start?
So the first thing you check
Yeah.
is, are there any prepositions involved?
Prepositions. Like in, on, at, all those.
Exactly. But, and here's the tricky part.
Uh-oh. I don't like the sound of tricky part.
Well, this is one of the things that can trip English speakers up.
Okay. Tell me.
Sometimes English and German don't agree on when a preposition is actually needed.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Seriously. So like a word might need a preposition in German but not in English?
Yeah, exactly, or vice versa.
That seems like it would be a disaster for me trying to speak German.
I can see why you'd say that, but that's why this flowchart is so helpful.
Okay, so back to prepositions.
Right. So let's look at the example again. The boy is looking for his dog in the park.
Okay.
In English, we say looking for his dog.
Yeah.
No preposition for dog, right?
All right.
But in German, the word for to look for, which is suchen, that word also doesn't use a preposition. So even though both languages express the same idea, grammatically, it means that dog is the direct object in both. And in German, direct objects are Akkusativ.
So even though both languages are doing the same thing, the grammatical consequence is different.
It is. And that's why just translating word for word doesn't always work. You have to look at the bigger picture.
Wow. Okay, so how does the decision tree help us with that?
Well, like we were saying, first we look for a preposition. If there is one in the German sentence, then you go down one branch of the tree. And if there isn't one, you go down the other.
Okay, so no preposition for dog, so we go down that side of the tree.
Right. Then, since there's no preposition, we ask who or what is being looked for. The answer is the dog.
So that makes it accusative.
Exactly.
Okay, I think I'm getting this.
Yeah.
What about park, though? We do have in before park in both English and German.
You're right, we do. So in that case, we follow the other branch of the decision tree.
The one for when there is a preposition.
Yep. Now, in is one of those tricky ones in German because it can actually be used for both dative and accusative.
Oh, no. Not another one of these either situations.
I know, but there's a logic to it, I promise.
Okay, what is it?
So when you have a two-way preposition like in, you have to ask yourself, is this indicating motion, like where to, or location, like where?
Oh, okay.
So in our example, is the boy looking for his dog to the park or in the park?
He's looking in the park.
Exactly. So that means it's location, and in German, location with in uses dative.
Uh-huh. So to put it all together, the full German sentence would be, Der Junge sucht seinen Hund im Park.
You got it.
We just cracked the code.
We did.
Okay, wait. So that's just for this sentence.
Right.
Like how do we know this will work for other sentences?
That's the great part. This process, this decision tree logic, it applies to all nouns and pronouns that are in the object position, not just dog and park.
So we don't have to memorize a million different rules for a million different situations.
Yep.
It's amazing. This is way better than just blindly memorizing lists of prepositions.
It really is, because it gives you the power to figure out the right case in any situation.
This is incredible. I
Yeah.
feel like we went from total confusion to actually feeling confident in just a few minutes.
It's amazing how powerful it is to understand the why behind the grammar rules.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize that there's a lot more nuance to how German expresses relationships between words.
There is. And it makes you think, like maybe English isn't always as straightforward as we think it is either.
Right. I'd never thought about it that way before.
Yeah. It really makes you wonder, how might understanding this grammatical concept change the way you think about how words relate to each other in any language?
That's a great question.
I think it's something worth pondering.
I agree. I know I'll be thinking about it for sure. Thanks for this deep dive.
My pleasure. Always happy to geek out about grammar.
Thank you for listening. If this topic piqued your interest, you can contact me via my website for German classes on all levels, in person in Dubai or online worldwide.